I grew up here. I was here at the racetrack watching my dad race from 1988. Got a junior dragster and began racing there in 1992. Did that for 9 years, moved through the sportsman ranks for 5, and turned professional in 2004. So it's my home track. It's where I hold a lot of memories, and it would be huge. It would significantly impact the economy negatively, and then to not have this on our schedule. Houston is such a huge market media-wise. We'd be missing out on all of that coverage. One of the 24 races would be removed from our schedule, leaving 23 events, and that takes 4 hours of ESPN time away. So you can go down any avenue that you'd like, whether it be memories, economy, or NHRA schedule, and it would impact us huge for the worst.
And being this is a hometown track, of course, a lot of folks from here pull from you. So they come out to the track, of course, to watch you.
They do, and it's really awesome. I've spent 21 years of my life doing this. I've dedicated my entire life to it, and I absolutely love it. And being able to be the hometown hero, as they say, it would stink to not have the fans. They would have to drive all the way to Dallas to come see. So that's the next closest event here. So we definitely put fans in the stands, being from the Houston area, and yeah, sad deal.
Very young in the sport. This is my 5th year here with Don Schumacher Racing, and even I can identify that we need growth in our sport, and to take a venue like Houston away from here because it's got some issues there with the track surface and prep would be devastating. I mean, it would be devastating to us financially for sponsors. It would also be devastating for us, just not to have them on the market anymore for the coverage on TV. And it's one of those things where we need to grow our sport, not shut tracks down. So I'm young in the sport, like I said, and I want to continue to do this for many years to come, and we can't do that with less racetracks. So it's one of those deals where hopefully this can be resolved. There seems to be a lot of positive folks out here that are pushing really hard to get this this dust that's been from this concrete plant on the racetrack, to get that resolved so we can go back to racing, come back here next year, bring in thousands of people into this market and spend millions of dollars. So I really hope it all has a positive result in the end after this deal, and I want to come back here and start racing.
I do have a huge investment out here. I come to these races with 19 tractors and trailers. One of my rigs that comes here is a hospitality rig where we cook our own meals. We serve 1,500 to 2,500 meals to fans in our hospitality area, which is between the race teams. We feed husbands, wives, and children of the fans and our team members in that area. With this kind of dust and this kind of situation, that wouldn't be able to go on. When we come to town, we take 70 to 80 hotel rooms for a week straight. Generate a lot of income for the hotel owners and motel owners, for the restaurants and the night establishments. We bring a whole group of people into town for every one of these races. We cannot have this type of situation next to the racetrack, making it impossible to take care of our fans, making it impossible to take care of our people in the hospitality area. It would eliminate us being able to come out here. My sponsors are the U.S. Army, Napa Auto Parts, Valvoline, Matco Tools, corporations like that, Danaher Corporation, Rocky, Boots, Mopar. They will not be involved with this industry with these type of situations here. We can't race in that kind of environment. We can't bring our people here. It needs to be taken care of. We love coming here to Houston. We love coming to Baytown. We support the communities. We support the businesses. And we look to continue coming here year after year. Thank you much.
So, as a teenager, I street raced, and then when I got out of the Air Force, I started hobby racing, and that turned into sportsman racing, and I did that for 21 years. The last 8 I've been a professional. I get paid to travel around the country and race at some of the best venues out there. But I've also seen it from an instructor's standpoint, running a racing school for students who were coming out to get their first exposure to drag racing. A lot of them needed licenses to go compete in their own cars that they were building. Some of them, it was just something that was on their bucket list. And what was always paramount about that was giving them a good, safe platform to go do this on. The track had to be prepped right, the cars had to be done right, we supervised everything. And as people go and compete in their own race cars, there's always an assumption that that racing surface is good, clean, and safe. And it's something that, if you ever watch NHRA, they have a track prep crew called the Safety Safari. And that's what they do. After every run, they're out there looking at that racetrack. They're making sure it's good, it's clean, it's safe for us to go as fast as we possibly can. And we drove over to the racing facility earlier today. I wanted to see firsthand what this issue was. And I got to tell you, it's just so incredibly obvious when you see this enormous mound of dirt and scrap and concrete right adjacent to the pit areas there. And from a nuisance standpoint, nobody wants all this dust blowing all over the race car in the pit area. But it gets significantly worse when you get out on the racetrack. And when you understand the nuances of prepping these tracks and spraying this glue compound on them and keeping them at this level where cars can accelerate quickly, you can see how clear it is that you can't have dust mixing with a racing surface. It just doesn't mix.
Been involved in this sport for over 50 years. I know I don't look that old, but I have been. NHRA was formed in 1951 to get kids off the street and into safe facilities, old abandoned airports, etc. Our mission today is the same, except we've also elevated to the professional level that we currently enjoy, and enjoy one of our 24 events here at Royal Purple Raceway. My mission, being with NHRA today here, is to try and work with Royal Purple and their people to keep this racetrack open. Racing is important to all communities at all levels, not just the professional level, although the professional level brings in an awful lot of money into the economy in Baytown and the surrounding areas, somewhere in the area of about $100 million a year, in hotels, I mean, it's phenomenal how much money comes into these places. Without the racetrack, the city would suffer. But without the racetrack, you don't have a weekly street racing program. And we've seen, and we can document time and time again around this country, that without active racetracks in their area, illegal street racing goes up. And it causes fatalities, and so this is a very important part of it, as is the national event. And when we have a facility that we've seen that has sprung up beside the racetrack with the risk of blowing dust, concrete, and so on onto the racing surface, that produces an unsafe surface. And as NHRA is a sanctioning body of all of drag racing, we just can't support that. And obviously we don't want this to happen, but ultimately, if there was safety issues out at that racetrack, we would no longer be able to sanction this facility, which would mean the loss of the national event and the loss of a lot of activities for Royal Purple. So we're doing everything we can to try and keep this facility alive and operating, and we appreciate the effort of the media too to help us in that function.